Well, we just got back from a long weekend trip up in Virginia and getting back in the studio and talking about kind of laughing and recalling everything that we just did.
Yeah, it was an awesome weekend. And for those of you who don't know us, I'm Becky. This is Chris, my handsome husband.
Oh, thank you. That's from our discussions over and over on how we should intro.
Yes, we were the beautiful wife thing was getting old. No, not for me.
Not for me. I mean, over and over again, I could say it.
But we did. We just had an
I get brownie
amazing
points every time
weekend
I
away.
do
You
that.
do. You get lots of brownie points always.
Yeah. But yeah, we left on Thursday. We did a 4-day weekend up in Virginia, and we have lots to talk about because this was one of those trips that we kind of loosely budgeted. We threw it in kind of last second, and so I wouldn't say that anything that could go wrong went wrong because nothing went wrong. It was just it made us laugh a lot.
And it's a good thing it made us laugh because it could have been like stressful and it could have put a damper on it. But actually, we were able to just be very lighthearted. And what we're referring to is our complete lack of organization.
Because this wasn't a vacation. This was like a hybrid trip, going to see a professor. Going ahead and retiring. So there's a big ceremony, lots of graduates. There was actually over 400 band company members, former cadets that came to see him off.
Yeah, at the Virginia Military Institute. It was pretty incredible, actually, to see someone that had impacted so many people.
And just the stories and the good times. And so we went up there to do that. And then we kind of, we're going to be playing the 25th class reunion. So we went ahead and did a lot of
we scouted locations.
Scouting. We went to some breweries.
We had to try every cocktail.
Different bars and places just to kind of see what venues the class would like and how we would all enjoy it. And so it definitely kept us busy altogether.
Yes, it did. But we're very organized people. Like we are packed in advance. I mean, sometimes I push it and I'll do it the night before, but it's always done, before we go. We're packed and ready to go. We've got a list of things that we typically want to bring. If it's tropical, we're bringing a speaker and our Yetis. If it's, in the mountains, we're bringing beanies. Like we create lists on our phone so we don't forget anything that we want.
Yes.
We do like our luxuries in life, like while we're traveling. And this trip, that's why it was funny. We were so all over the place.
We were so all over the place. It was kind of like, we typically don't leave like on a Thursday, like in the morning. And matter of fact, we had changed our entire schedule with everything here at the office, and we moved things around because we didn't even realize our flight was actually taking off at
the
like
flight
noon.
Moved. It like moved on us. I don't even know. I had meetings that day that I still took, but it's like, it was just crazy.
Yeah, a lot of things changed. And then I ended up on the way to the airport. When you go to a military college, the class ring is like this holy artifact that you carry with you.
And they're huge. It's so crazy.
On the way to the airport, I almost it was almost like a Home Alone moment, where I stopped and it was like, I didn't scream Kevin. I literally go, I forgot my class ring.
I know.
And it was like,
and it was crazy too because I had just Google mapped it because we did have so many meetings that day, and by the skin of our teeth, we were going to get to the airport on time. Mm-hmm. And I still ended up having to like extend over, and so when we got in the car and we looked at our ETA of arrival, it was like we were going to get there, 15 minutes before boarding. Now, thankfully, it's a small airport.
And the bags have to be there 1 hour beforehand.
Yes.
And so we were checking bags, and so it was super important that we get there at least 1 hour beforehand.
And it was like right after we realized we were already incredibly tight on time that he then realized he forgot his ring. And he probably wanted to turn back.
I did want to turn around, but I knew that if we had to get back through downtown traffic and come back through it, that would probably was going to add about 20 to 30 minutes to our trip time. And so I decided to go without it.
That was that. He left without it. And then when we were... we continued to find things that we forgot. I didn't bring my flight pillow.
We didn't have a phone charger. Well, I had brought one, an extra one.
Thanks to iPhone, they update their chargers.
The charger ports.
Speaking of budgeting, iPhone's not helping any of us when you upgrade your phone, and all of a sudden every charger you own doesn't fit the thing. So I don't have the newest version. I have a nice one, but yours is the newest version.
I have the newest version.
And the charger changed, and so I accidentally grabbed the charger out of the drawer.
Which was my charger.
And it was like every step of the way, we realized certain things in the car, then on the plane. And then we got to the hotel room. I went to plug in my phone and I was like, are you kidding me?
And I forgot my hat, or I couldn't find my hat, actually. I wanted to wear me and my hat while I was there. And then
normally we trust.
The biggest things. Well, the funny thing is that we were sitting in the airport, and I'm just kind of looking through, and I go, I forgot to rent a car.
Which that's what I was just going to say. Normally we trust one another for different roles when booking vacations.
And technically,
too.
I didn't forget to rent the car. What happened is that it asked me
for
the.
What had happened was
there's a CV code, and I didn't have the CV code, and it's our vacation account is in Travelocity. And you laughed at this last time because I actually named the cards and then I put the CV code next to the name of the card so I don't have to actually go to my wallet. And for some reason...
Tips and tricks, people.
I think that it just wasn't taking it. And so I kept entering it over and over. And so I said, I'll get to that. Well, I never got to it. And so we ended up having to rent a car.
No, we did.
Minute.
So he's like, we don't have a car. So I was like, okay, let me just take care of this really quick. So I'm going on the app and he's like, no, I got it. And I'm like, well, I literally have the entire thing done. I just have to hit this button. So
yeah, it was like a pride thing to have it in my Travelocity app, and you had it up and I was like, no, just give me one more minute. But then I kind of caved to you.
You caved. I did.
I was like, all right, push the button. It was a good price.
Yeah. So. At that point I had to take matters into my own hands.
When it's budgets, a lot of people look and you can go from those super economy cars, the little, remember that one little car? It was
the compact cars.
It was 12 feet long.
Yeah.
It was so small.
They're itty
bitty.
But
we picked those because, it's $30 a day.
Well, normally they'll give you a free upgrade.
And typically you'll get a free upgrade because they won't have that one there. Because a lot of people pick those and they don't. So you're looking for a little bit of advice when you're traveling, pick that cheapest car.
And
and ask for the upgrade.
Yes.
That's huge.
Unless you're getting an upgrade in a hotel and you slide them money and they're actually just going to make you
That's a wholly different story.
I shouldn't even open that can of
worms.
worms.
We'll save the Vegas slide the money across
for
the table
another day.
Another day.
But what I was going to say is that while we don't recommend, waiting till the last minute, oftentimes, there's a period of time where if the trip's coming up and it's, full, whether it's flight or cars aren't in the lot or anything like that, then you're going to pay an extortionate amount of money. But if it's the day of or the day before, then whatever they've got, they figure we're not going to sell it anyway. And sometimes they bring the prices way down. That's like Hotel Tonight's concept.
I was gonna say, I think you use Hotel Tonight.
I do for that exact reason, because they buy the rooms up, and if they're still available the night before, then they, slash the rates. But
right. And
so that was kind of the case with the car.
That's actually a really good point. When you're checking out on, at least for Travelocity, and I don't know what other people use, but if you use an app like that, they have a pay now or pay later or pay at the price. And sometimes if you pay there, it might be a couple dollars more per night, and it's literally $10 or less for the night. And it's almost like insurance, because they'll let you literally cancel the day before.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, if we look on Hotel Tonight, we can get the exact same room that's way cheaper, and then book that, and then end up, maybe saving $30 a night.
Yeah.
Just the trick of the trade.
We already told
traveling.
Everybody we saved on the hotel, but we were staying in a musty.
Yeah. By the way, room. You get what you pay for.
Absolutely. Yes. And it was fine. You're just laying your head down at night. And we had some friends in town actually that were, they were staying at a family's house that had this stunning view of the Blue Ridge Mountains.
They had an amazing view of the
Yeah,
Blue
it was
Ridge
incredible.
Mountains.
We had such a good night having a campfire and everything. That was the thing. We had plans into the night both days. And so, where we were sleeping didn't really matter, but it certainly was not.
It wasn't. It was nice. It was nice, but it was a little bit musty. And then we actually got to view the place that we wanted to stay at, and gorgeous. Their place was absolutely gorgeous. And we'll definitely.
They literally every single room at the hotel is designed differently, which is amazing.
It is amazing. So if you're into that
there.
stay where you're going to actually spend some time in the room, then that would definitely have been
Like they matched the decor on the walls and the artwork to the
that's
paint.
worth hundreds.
And yeah, absolutely. It's nice to look at.
Matching. So you're saying there was no gold-plated faucets
Not in our musty,
in our hotel?
Not in our musty room. No, it wasn't great. But yes, and you also, the trip was good. I was sore for a couple of days after. We did a lot of walking, but the one thing, you made me go back down to your old behind the barracks, down where you used to do, by the river, and there was like these devil stairs.
We literally did probably, I don't know, 100, 200 flights of stairs going down.
And back up.
And the funny thing is that when I was a cadet there, like 25 years ago, I don't think we had stairs. I think we had like a rope, and you just had to like climb up dirt to get to the top. Like it wasn't even a thing.
Really, talking to the VMI guys, any of your friends and classmates that you went there with, it's always, we say like it changes year over year. Everybody is challenged in their generational time that they're at the institute. But it is one of those stories where they're like, that over there used to be mud and dirt and we'd have to crawl up it or whatever. It reminds me of like your grandma. Like, I walked through the snow 100.
I think the only thing that hasn't changed is the food quality. I think every cadet that passes through there would say that that's the one thing that stays constant.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't.
And we went to some great restaurants, and we really exhausted our vacation budget and food budget. Actually, we didn't even pull from food for this trip. This was a vacation only kind of trip, and we burned a hole in that card like it was nobody's business. One of the things that I've learned, and this is actually really important when you have a couple that's budgeting together, is what you consider what we should spend on a trip, because I will always typically come in low. I'm like, $25 a day for food.
I never come in low on food.
And you're like, nope, we're going out to these nice places and we need $100 because that's what it's going to be. And typically it is more. Typically we definitely err on what your budget number
Well, you
is.
didn't at first until I proved you wrong on a couple
Yeah,
of
after
trips.
like 4 or 5 times, I actually started adjusting the budget.
You were like, maybe we will spend this much a day.
Yeah.
It became a challenge. I was like, of course we will. I can do it.
What I want to say this time last year, we actually reduced the vacation, what we were going to plan to spend for the year, and we had reduced it down. And it was to put money and save money elsewhere. And we did that, but then it was like, wow, we're feeling the burn a little bit. Like we're spending what we're putting aside, which was definitely something we weren't used to. We were used to a little bit more cushion in there. And then I had actually sent you a screenshot, and I said, hey, I found the problem.
It's a slight error. This was human error. This was not
and you know what? This is
software
actually
error.
funny because it's the difference between using our software and using a spreadsheet. And in the spreadsheet, I forgot to just update the number in the spreadsheet. So the spreadsheet says we're supposed to have all this extra money, but the software was like, no, you're poor. So
It was like, remember, you decided to change your budget in the
Exactly.
beginning of the year, so we hadn't been accounting for that.
yeah,
That's okay.
And I do track a lot of other things in that one particular spreadsheet, and so I've actually decided to make some changes to the software to accommodate some of that.
Allow for notes.
Yeah,
what you're
allow
doing
for some
on
of the
those
notes
weekends,
because,
and that's what we like to keep track of.
We
Essentially,
keep track
a
of some
calendar.
notes. It's almost like a little mini calendar.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and put that into the vacation module because it'll definitely help us, and we won't have that problem again. So.
Yeah, definitely. But before we left, we had some funny mattress saga.
The mattress saga
continues. It continues.
This was, most people don't have sagas, and most people definitely don't have mattress
We
sagas.
introduced a podcast in every episode so far. We're talking about this mattress.
We're talking about the mattress.
I know, but
And
it was
so-
hilarious. So my mom, they're like, we're in the market for a new mattress. We're going to get a new mattress. And I was like, okay, cool. And so she texted in our family chat, which we have, and she was like, I want to come over. I might get the same mattress you have, but your dad says I need to try the
Your
mattress.
family is notorious. Like, if one person in your family gets something and people like it, everyone has one.
I don't know about that.
It is the case. You guys, someone's like, what toothbrush is that?
You got
Next
a
thing you know,
German
everyone's
Shepherd?
got the
Everyone
same
in the
Ge-
family gets a German
I like a
Shepherd?
German Shepherd. Everyone buys German Shepherds. What kind of car are you driving? Everyone's driving a Chevrolet.
Yes. But anyway, so my mom was going to come over and try out the bed. And Chris was like,
I was like,
he was
what?
like, your mom's going to come
And
lay in
just
our
come
bed.
sleep in
And
our
I
bed?
was like, yeah, she's just going to come over. So it got even funnier because my mom doesn't care. I mean, she's,
She's like,
I
hey, I
get
just
my
want to go lay in your bed.
personality from her. So she was
and
like,
that was
yeah,
the
I'm
thing is
coming,
like,
Chris.
I was thinking to myself, how long does it take to find out the answer to this question? Like, are we going to come home? It's like, I've been here for 3 hours.
No, she would have just laid in it for
It's
a minute.
pretty comfortable.
But anyways, she had an appointment downtown, and so she was like, I'll come on that day. Well, neither of us were going to be home, but we were actually getting our house cleaned that day. And I'm not sure. It depends on who comes on the team. We've got a great relationship with this team. They've cleaned our house for years, but there are a couple of women that don't speak English, and I wasn't sure who was going to be there that day. So I had to text the woman who helps facilitate everything and owns the business. And I was like, by the way, I was like, when they're there cleaning the house, I was like, a woman they've never seen before is going to come in.
Yes.
She's going to get under the covers in
She's
our
going to just
master
walk up
bedroom.
the stairs.
She's going to go in our bed. And because we were leaving town, she was going to take Pepper because
She's
they
going
were
to steal her dog.
yeah, I was like, and she's going to steal our dog. I was like, tell them not to be alarmed.
I mean, it is like probably one of the funniest things trying to explain to someone.
I
And
can't
then
imagine what they thought.
It's interesting, like, because if it didn't get
Communicated, yeah.
this
Which
woman,
was good that I even remembered.
would have walked into their house. They would have been like, "Hi,"
Don't
and
know
she
you.
would have walked up. They would have been cleaning upstairs, and this woman's in our bed, like in the middle of the day,
Like, ma'am?
and then she'll get up, go into the bed,
Take the dog.
take the dog.
I'm sure I would have gotten a call like, hey, someone just took the dog out of your house. Was that
And we
supposed
have a
to happen?
Frenchie, so it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, we no longer have a
And
German
everyone
Shepherd.
remembers that story with so it was some famous actress, and she had like 2 Frenchies stolen. Do you remember this? Because you
Wasn't
were
it
all
Pink?
worried. Was it Pink?
I don't know. I can't
No,
remember.
I thought it was like Paris Hilton or something.
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
I think it might have been.
Okay, well, you
I'm
know
like,
what?
I don't
Hey,
know.
if you're
We're looking
listening
at our
to this,
resources. Let us
put
know
in the
who-
comments.
Yeah.
Tell us
There was a
the person whose
huge
dog was
reward
stolen.
out for. I think
Yeah, it was like 20 grand. It was like
no,
10,
it was
yeah.
more than that.
No, it was like 20 grand.
I can't remember. I'd offer
20
everything
grand's
to
a
get
huge
Pepper
number. I
back.
can't imagine it being more than that.
I would. I said I'd
We do
spend
not
my
have-
life
we could
savings the
buy-
other day. I got to
We could
stop
buy a lot
saying
of
this,
peppers
but-
for 20 grand. Oh, I know. I shouldn't have said that. You'll be up.
You guys can't see it, but my jaw's on the ground. Pepper is priceless.
You're right. She is priceless.
My goodness.
Please, no one steal our Frenchies. We
We're
will talk
locking
about. We'll
down
have to
the
budget
house
for the
tonight.
entire like century. To
He.
get it
The
back.
funny thing is, he loves her. He wasn't a dog guy, but he loves her more than I
absolutely
do.
love her.
Yes, she.
But the good news is that your mom did come in.
Yes.
She's
not sure about the mattress.
not sure
though.
about the
I
mattress,
wasn't
but she
sure
stole
either
the
at
dog.
first, but I'm happy
She
now.
stole the dog.
She took the dog. But what I think is interesting, since we're on the topic, is that one of the major luxuries in life for me is being able to have a team of incredible people who come and help clean our house.
Yes.
And even though I feel like I'm a really organized, clean person, it is so nice to have someone, and it's not all the time. It's not like, oh, we've got a cleaning person that comes every other day or even once a week. It's like we have it every couple of weeks. And when I first,
They do all the deep clean stuff.
yeah, it's like cleaning the grout in the shower so things don't, it's really about the upkeep of your home. It allows for you to keep the value in your home because you're consistently getting a deeper clean that keeps things nice, so
Right.
you're not having to replace a tub or a shower door or something because you cleaned the mildew consistently and you didn't let anything build up. And that,
Well, it's no different than having a landscaper on the outside of your
right.
house,
Yeah, no,
And
it's so important to
if
me.
you're
And-
budgeting for that, I mean, there's a time value of money there.
Exactly.
So-
It's and I've done a lot of it myself, but I've just I swear, even if I'm on my hands and knees, I can't do the cleaning like they can. It's like, no way.
No,
So,
I mean, they just hit everything. They have a routine.
I just said,
and
keep this PG. I can't believe I just said that. Even if I'm on my hands and knees. All right, sorry, people. But I was like, I'm still not over it. I'm probably turning red. But no, anyway, one of the things that I felt like in life was I'm like successful now that I'm able to afford that. And I might still not have been able to get the nicest groceries and maybe the nicest clothes, but that was one of the things that I was like, this would make a big difference in my
it
life.
provided value. For
It
you.
did. It saved me time. And it was something that I really didn't enjoy doing. And so we were talking about like what you felt like was the number one thing that made you feel like you had finally like been financially stable or hit success.
Well, it wasn't as much as what I thought. It was just, I was listening to someone else's podcast, and there was a guy that had sold his company, And they asked him, they go, at what dollar amount did you hit, that made you think, wow, I've got this down, I have money, etc. And he goes, you know what? He had labeled off, and it was like a $5 million number, some big number that most people are never going to hit. But he goes, you know what? He goes, you know what really did it for me? He goes, it wasn't having a lot of money in my bank account. He goes, it was when I could go out to eat and I didn't look at the prices on menus. And I thought that was pretty profound because
It's true.
I'd never thought about it until he said that. And when he said that and I heard that, I go, wow, that's really great to sit there and go, you know what, he's getting what he wants. And the reality is it's usually just a few dollars difference.
Right.
So you're going out and you're looking at a chicken dish for 13 and there's something else at 17. You're going, oh, I don't want to spend 17. I'm going to do 13. And so,
absolutely.
One of the things that we do is, this is why we have, a budget for just food is that when you do that, you can go out and just enjoy yourself because that money's there.
You can.
And
it's interesting too, because it is a profound statement. If we go out, and our food budget's getting low towards the end of the week, and we haven't adjusted or anything, or we maybe had a big holiday, it's like, then we are paying attention to prices. But I always laugh at myself because I don't really ever pay attention at all when we're on our food budget. But if like you're out of town and I'm using my personal card, I'm always like, I'll get the French fries. I'm good.
That's true.
I'll starve tonight.
And I actually was just sharing this with someone the other day, which is, and actually we were making some shorts. So we're making some shorts just to educate, people about just budgeting, etc. And when I did the food one, it was, I was talking specifically in my notes just about if it's just yourself, you have to use your own money.
Right.
Because food is really designed for the family unit, whether that's just you as a couple, whether that is you as, a family. So if you have kids, everyone else. Now, if you're single and you're doing a budget, you still need a food account. And you're not only are you using your personal money for your personal,
right,
but all your food money is personal at that case.
And you're just budgeting. But you're sneaky. He'll go to the store and he's like buying stuff. I'll be like out with girlfriends for the night, so he'd have to be like getting his own food.
So you want to hear the trick on how to use the food budget for the family is when you go out to buy your food at the grocery, also buy household.
That's where he'll message me. You want a box of Cheez-Its? He knows I'm going to say yes. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, that sounds good.
So if 75%
he's like, boom,
of the purchase,
Becky's getting Cheez-Its. Going on the
75% of that bill is community food. And then I just threw that steak in. I just threw that that piece of chicken in there and made it for myself that night.
Always causing
But I am
trouble.
making it at home. It's not going out. There's definitely a huge difference with going out versus eating at the house.
Yes, that's very true. Very true. Yes, you caused trouble actually at the airport the other day with your name. Oh, did I?
Yeah. So this is like a point of contention, like most airports are actually really good about this. So my full name is actually Christopher, and I don't want to type out Christopher. Matter of fact, my Travelocity profile says Chris. You know what? I bet you if I just changed that, it would make my life a lot easier.
Yeah, you really need
My
to.
tickets are always in Chris. But my identification says Christopher, and they actually stopped us on the way back, and they made me change my ticket.
He says I haven't talked to him about this before. We've talked about it so many times.
I don't think we've ever.
I book his tickets as Christopher because TSA agents have commented in the past, and your American Airlines number is associated to Chris. So every time I go to book it, I'm like, forget it. You're not getting the miles. I'm not using your number because I'm using Christopher, and it won't even let me book it under Christopher because it doesn't match.
Because it doesn't have that on there.
So
yeah,
you gotta go change all your profiles.
Should fix it. It's one of those things that are like little details, but that's the point. Is that we can't when you're doing trips, whether they're fun, business, or pleasure, there are these reward accounts that exist out there, and you want to maximize. It's important
to take advantage of them.
You
exactly.
do get discounts, you do get those, and when you're in a budget, you're not typically putting anything in there that says, "Hey, I'm going to get some points or allocations."
No, it's like extra.
But it's just extra. It just
well,
makes
and
things
they know,
cheaper.
like when you fly, they know that. If you're using a number, if you're constantly booking under the same account, they know. And like the other day when I was upset, I was upset with American Airlines because the flight was so delayed. They did write back and they were like, we can see that you fly with us frequently. You built up all this stuff and we're going to give you some extra miles, which was really nice.
Yeah, you know, these airlines can be generous sometimes. You actually, on the way out, you had some drink tickets that you had pulled out.
Yes.
And I looked at her because you can buy drink tickets, I think, when you actually like check in or something like that.
Or if you like, I think if you have a credit card or miles, or you are like some,
give them
you
to
know,
you. And I looked at you
person.
and I was like, where did you get those?
I get paid
and
to
you
get
reminded
electrocuted.
me that I had actually got electrocuted in the airport.
I know this was not this trip. I had saved these from a
trip
previous
was like
trip.
6 months ago, and
But that was crazy.
I was sitting in the chairs, just kind of waiting. I don't know what you call the waiting area in airports. So I was just sitting at the gate. I was sitting at the gate in a chair, and we were eating. We were having a snack or something, and I went to go stand up, and this snake bit me in the leg. Like, I thought it was a snake. I literally go, there's a snake.
He's someone who could intentionally electrocute himself at the house and be like, oh, I think that shocked me. And I'm like, that was like 200 volts or whatever. But so he's very unfazed normally. And you like were crippled over.
I was
in
crippled.
pain.
Like, it dropped me down a little bit.
Very
My legs gave away. And
he's
I
had
thought
some
I
medical
got
issues in the past. This is a little alarming. I was like,
someone had actually broken off like an iPhone charger.
The outlet. It was the actual outlet. And so the charger got stuck inside
in the outlet,
of it. The metal
the two
pieces.
prongs were sticking out. And so what happened was my leg hit the two prongs and it just shocked the hell out of me.
He literally thought a snake was
I
in
thought
the
I got
airport. I mean, we do live in Florida, people. So, like, this is not too far from... There's birds in the airport all the time.
It was just a snake. I thought I was
wasn't a
dead.
gator.
I mean, anyway, they brought the paramedics out.
I will tell you, they showed up in like 2 seconds. They were quick. It took forever to get someone from the airlines to come and help us.
Yeah,
but
we walked up to the airlines and we're like, hey, we just got shocked.
Hi,
and
we
like
got
my leg's shaking. And they're like, oh, okay. Welcome to Allegiant.
The man sitting next to us is like, yeah, the real problem is once you get shocked like that, you hope you don't have a heart attack or something. We're like Googling and I'm like, oh my God, what?
I'm like, wait a second here. We're getting ready to go on a trip. I'm not going to have a heart attack.
Please do not let us go into cardiac arrest on this plane.
Seriously. And so you got worried. So it was like, we need someone to just check us out.
Thankfully, everything was okay. And for all of your trouble, they gave us a couple of
us 5 drink tickets. Hey, we're sorry we electrocuted you. Here's 5 drink tickets.
Please don't sue us.
Yeah. The good news is that on those flights, it's like we got like 2-for-1s. Like that, when you have a drink ticket, they're actually pretty. Like you're like, oh, give me a can of cranberry, a can of like some tonic water.
They're flexible.
They're very
normally
flexible.
they have an expiration date, but the dude on the day of it says expires today, so you can use it any day.
Yeah. The tickets. So
you
we got
could tell
like
they were looking at it like
infinite drink tickets. And the funny thing was they were pointing like, well, that guy's got. We're like collecting drink tickets, and we had like a snack ticket.
I know. So that worked in our favor. That was really good.
We bought some. We went. We had some friends who opened a store up in Virginia, there in the town we were at. So we bought. I actually bought some. They're like
got pickled vegetables,
and my brother had bought these. They were carrots, asparagus, and green beans, kind of pickled in these jars. That
He's so excited about this, you guys.
I was so excited because we don't have that in Florida. We don't have Tillin Farms down here.
I'm sure we do. Someone's going to call you.
It's probably somewhere. If you know where there's Tillin Farms down in Sarasota, let us know, and I'll go buy them there. But our friends have this little general store downtown. It's super cool. A lot of wine and drinks, but a lot of unique stuff. And they had the Tillin Farm stuff, and they were $20 a bottle. I don't know if you know this or not.
They were?
Yes.
Did you just see my eyes? Oh my gosh!
They were $20. Now, each.
You people,
okay,
I guarantee you, he used the vacation budget
and
for
that's
this.
why I'm pointing this out. No, I'm telling you this because I used my personal card. I looked at it and I was like, okay, I want 3 bottles, and it was $60, and I knew.
See, I don't even know. I didn't even pay attention.
I wanted to okay, we're gonna have my brother had this amazing
Bloody Mary bar at a
tailgate for this big Thanksgiving event. And he did such a great job. I was like, you know what? I'd love to do that down here. I'm not sure when this event's going to take place, but we're going to do it. And so I splurged on those those cake little things.
I did get a couple of things.
I was like this close. I was like sitting there going, well, she'll probably eat some of these, But it was my personal decision to get them. And I used my personal
That
account
was
for
sweet
that.
of you.
Yes.
When we went back, he forgot one bottle. We went back for it, and I got a couple of other things. That did go on the vacation account. He also, you got yourself a $40 hat in Grenada. He was like, put it on the room. And then we got the bill, and he was like, I didn't realize that hat was $40.
That hat was $15.
I'm telling you, people, the grocery, you sneak them.
Well, you just get you just said you just bought those things on the vacation. I used my personal.
No, you wanted the beans, and I went back and got the beans. Anyway, I also got this incredible tarragon Dijon mustard, and I made a steak sandwich yesterday, and it was amazing.
I shared the video of the smash with the team.
It was
shortly
good.
before you got
here. You gotta love the juices running down.
Yeah.
It was so good.
So we made a little steak burger
some of that.
last night.
I know. They didn't have pork roll at the store.
Yes, we are looking for pork roll. It is at if you don't know
Public
what
service
pork roll
announcement.
Is, public service announcement. These hard to find items, but we are looking for pork roll. Publix says that you can order it. And
it's like spam for those of you who don't know.
I love spam.
I'm not a huge fan. People will argue with me about this probably forever, but it stinks up the home when you cook it at home. I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's like putting fish in a microwave at work. It's just, you just don't do it, you know?
Yeah.
He disagrees. I tell him he can have spam when I'm on vacation.
Yeah, and I'm gonna buy some more spam. Actually, I'm gonna find this.
I know people are obsessed. In Hawaii, they have it in the morning. It's like eggs, rice, and spam.
My grandfather used to make spam, so I kind of grew up with it.
My sister loves it.
And your sister loves it. That's like another. Your sister and I have like a lot of things.
We were just on this.
They're all the awesome things too. By the way.
Of course, entrepreneurs, incredible, drive me nuts. No, I'm kidding.
That's actually true. That's actually true.
What was I going to say? Oh, the guy on this trip was like, it's actually all the best parts of the pork. They just grind it.
They just grind it into a big
yeah, he's like, they can't sell them separately. And I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't really.
That's right. He was saying, he's like,
yeah.
They take all these little pieces from the shoulder that you can't sell individually and they grind it up and make pork.
He made it feel like it was like a real meat. And I'm like, no, dude, it ain't.
Anyways, this stuff's amazing. So I would go out and buy it if I were you. So.
Well, we're looking for it. You wanted your PSA. Yeah. We wished it was sold at that store in Virginia.
Yeah, so we're looking for Tillin Farms and we're looking for pork roll. Yeah, that's crazy.
But the other exciting update that you had this last week is that you're finally going to get some medical insurance.
Yeah, so, we created a new venture. And, one of the things whenever you're building a company is, starting to get those benefits to roll in for your team. And so, we put together what I feel is a really nice vacation policy for the year. And then the next thing was, hey, we need to get medical insurance for everyone. And when you are a small team or a small company and you're trying to start putting these layers down, you have to have employees that are working minimum hours a week. You have to have so many of them. Then you have to get these people to onboard as well. And then you have to pick a plan that actually is going to do something. And so we were pretty happy because we were able to get a medical plan through the company. And so everyone's kind of set. So we'll continue as we grow here, and people will be able to to be added to that.
Medical insurance is so expensive.
It is so expensive.
Even if you work for a company and they're giving you full coverage, like count yourself very fortunate.
And you have insurance through your company.
Yeah, I do.
So you're taken care of. It was me. So we had two options. It was either get insurance here and kind of plan for the future, or it was
have an individual
jump on your plan.
And when you're paying for a spouse, it's extortionate. It's crazy. Yeah. Most companies don't cover for a spouse. It's a family where you really start to gain the benefits. It's like, okay.
Most people cover like for an individual. Like they're going to be like, hey, we're going to give you X number, and some companies do great on individual, but as soon as you have a family, it changes everything.
Yeah, but it's same price. 1 kid, 10 kids doesn't make a difference. So like budgeting tip, have 10 children. I'm kidding.
More tax write-offs.
Yeah, exactly. No,
your food account goes to the roof, by the way.
The clothes would be insane unless you had them like 1 year apart and just put them in the same clothes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good plan. Something
no,
to
I'm
keep
just
in
happy
mind.
that you have the coverage. It is good. Because even Cobra these days is really expensive.
Yes.
And that's, if you're transitioning out of a job and looking for something new, but regardless, getting individual insurance. You have, and it's so tricky. You have to get like on insurance within specific time frames, and so it's always something that's really important.
So one of the good things, or one of the things that we want to mention, because we brought up medical insurance, is that when you're creating a budget, and especially when you're using budget banking, you're actually using your net pay, what's deposited, and so things like medical insurance are deducted before that number, and they do not go in your budget because that money's already been taken out. Same thing with like your 401k. You're not going to basically put those numbers down twice. Any of that money that's deducted prior to your deposit doesn't go in your budgets because you never see that money. So it's always a good thing when people are asking like, oh, I don't have a savings account. It's like, yeah, but do you have a 401k that you're depositing into, or another company account?
Right.
And they'll say, yeah, I do. Say, okay, that's great. Like that money is there, even though it's not reflecting in your, your 20, 30, 50 plan.
Yeah. And it's crazy too, because sometimes it's worth having some money on the side for medical expenses, even if you're insured or it's covered. Obviously, you need to budget for having enough to pay your deductible for the year or your max out of pocket. Yeah, it's your emergency account. But the other thing is sometimes insurance is funny about what they cover, and you never know whether it's blood work or it's a scan or something going on. It's really important, and you actually opened my eyes to this, to ask what the
cash pay,
out of pocket cash pay is. Yeah, because it could be so much less than what they're charging insurance. And if you know for a fact your insurance isn't going to cover it anyway, then it's like, save yourself what they would charge you if they try to get it, covered by insurance. They reject it. Well, now you're paying that price.
Yeah, you could save hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
On little teeny things that you're not really thinking of. I always ask for cash pay before I do the decision, because typically my copay is I think like $25 anyway, and so they'll sit there and they go, oh yeah, it's going to be $100. Now that doesn't count towards your deductible.
Right,
That's
exactly.
The big thing.
That's the big thing.
But let's say you're doing an MRI, and you haven't met your deductible, you don't think you're going to do it, you might pay like $500, $400 for an MRI, but they're going to charge you like $3,000 for the MRI.
Right.
So,
and it's super important to have insurance, obviously, if anything catastrophic were to happen.
Yes.
I mean, we know how big medical bills can be and hospital bills, but it is also very important to ask the right questions.
I can see off in the corner, we have Ethan on our team. He's, sitting over there and he's nodding his head. He's like, amen, brother. He's like,
had some knee work done.
He's got some knee therapy that he's going through for some surgery that he had. So he knows firsthand.
Oh, everybody.
What that's like.
I feel like everyone's got one thing or another, whether a family member or friends experienced it or you have yourself. I mean,
another good thing to note there is that when you do have like a lot of bills, and let's say that you owe money for medical or in the hospital and stuff like that, you can call them and get on a plan.
Yes.
And so it doesn't really matter if you owe $100,000. If you can afford $25 a week, you'll pay $25 a week or $25 a month forever.
To student loans.
Like a student loan, but you can budget for that. And so what you can do is put those numbers in your budget, negotiate that plan, and then what you'll do is when you get extra money or you get a raise or you have a life change or you win the lottery, then you just pay those things off.
Ooh, are we going to win the lottery?
We're not going to win the lottery anytime soon. So I'd love to win the lottery.
But no, that is such good advice, because honestly, you're never going to get sent to collections as long as they're seeing consistent payments and it's agreed upon with the medical facility. It's another thing that I didn't really know as I was growing up. A bill comes, my assumption is that's a bill, it's a liability, I have to pay it. And, I would feel like I needed to pay it in full or figure out how I was going to do it. And sometimes I've shorted myself in life versus getting on a plan because I thought that it was going to negatively impact me. But definitely.
But that's why a lot of people sit there and they're like, oh, we need this huge budget. We need this big money sitting aside. And it's like, no, you don't have to empty your savings, your emergency account to pay that. You can talk to them and say, yes, I know that. And usually it's interest free.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They're not charging you an interest at all.
I mean, this is your health. Like the medical field, they want to help you. They understand too. I mean, insurance companies, maybe not, but
yeah, maybe not insurance.
Yeah, no, but it is all really great advice that I've learned as I've grown older to make sure that.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think we're going to talk about the mattress next week? Or is today the last?
No, I think the saga's over.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to make sure.
You know what?
because-
And you guys knock on wood, because I mean, I hope nothing happens.
Yeah,
in
I'm
addition.
hoping that nothing else happens.
Oh, you are taking the mattress
No, we're
to
not.
Bree. That was the
That's happening
intention
this
of
weekend,
buying. Yes. So
That-
actually,
but we're not gonna. I'm not even gonna bring it up. Unless
no,
something hilarious
I don't know.
happens.
Something hilarious might happen. I take back what I said. The mattress saga might have one more episode in it.
All right, we'll see. All right, well, if you have any budgeting questions, if you have anything that you're curious about, we would love to answer your questions. Go ahead and hit us up on Facebook. Go ahead and hit us up on Instagram, and we'll jump on those, share those with you. Please feel free to check out the website. We have some free quick downloads that you can take a look at, and yeah, we'll go from there. Talk to y'all soon.
Woo.